It wasn't easy, but in the end I succeeded in reconstructing his head.
When was the last time you were afraid? Really afraid?
Everybody, welcome to the Heavy Leather Horror Show podcast, your weekly guide to all things horror from the heart of Witch City, Salem, Massachusetts. Woo. By the way, we have some Salem royalty this week, which is nice. Get to that in a minute. I'm your old pal Ken, a.k.a. rock and roll writer, Sleaze Grinder. And there she is, everybody. It's Salem's greatest huntress, Kelly Kapow. Oh, a little applause for Kelly. Fantastic. She scares people in haunted houses.
Boo. That was a ghost.
By the way, have you been cooking up any new characters since we've been on break?
I actually ordered some new stuff. I got some new teeth, which are really terrible, so I'm going to have to paint them. And I'm trying to work on some stuff. It's really hard to be motivated, even though I'm home all the time.
That's real. That's very real.
So what is this character going to be that you're going to be haunting us with soon?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I know I'm gonna redo my clown character.
Yeah.
So I want it to be more of a Halloween clown. So orange and black palette, super spooky. Yeah, I need to work on that.
Also with us, our coolest creep, Kate Douglas of Kate's Grim Day Out fame. Hello, Kate.
Hello. Happy to be here.
Hi, Kate.
Haven't seen Kate since we all got shut down. It's going to be excellent to see her.
I missed our last episode of Heavy Leather too.
Yep. And of course, we're very excited. The Salem Jason is here, everybody. Oh, there's a little of his theme song. If you hear that music, you know you're in trouble.
You're done for.
Hey, Salem Jason. Let me explain Salem Jason. He's his own Jason, of course, but he's also Salem's Jason, which means he dresses up every Friday the 13th, which happens... Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
He's on that violin, you know.
Every Friday the 13th, he dresses up like Jason Voorhees of Friday the 13th fame, and he drags a dead body around downtown Salem. That's what happens.
What happened?
And you know...
I don't know about this last Friday the 13th. Sorry about everything that's happened since then. Not my fault.
In other cities, this would be alarming, but in this city, he's embraced as a local celebrity. So and everybody loves...
They're looking for plague doctors in other places.
Yeah, I have seen that, yeah.
Have you seen that? That's amazing.
I mean, I think you can you wearing a mask, you can walk around, now, it'd be fine.
Now's the perfect time.
Oh my God, you're right.
Perfect
time to kill people.
Yeah, there's nobody to kill. That's the problem. He's just wandering around.
Make sure you stay 6 feet apart when you do kill them. Yeah. So maybe throw your machete.
Or underneath.
He had, at one time, I remember, if I have this correct, one time... Jason you had a spare gun once, right? That yes. you could use if you got to still stay 6 feet away from people.
Oh, hell yeah!
Especially if they keep the ban on meat going.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
We are a TV show primarily, but we got shut down a couple months ago, and so we are broadcasting from my basement until we get back to our beautiful studio across from Halloween Alley in downtown Salem. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows when that'll be? Facebook,
I like being in your basement.
Facebook.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show if you want to see the first 5 episodes of our show. I also want to say thank you and give a shout out to the Companeros Radio Network for hosting our show. Companeros.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Figure out how to spell that, man. Jesus Christ. But if you do figure it out, you can go to their site. You can check out Movie Melt, Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles, the #1 softcore porn review site on the podcast on the internet, Songs on Trial, and now the Heavy Leather Horror Show podcast, all at Companeros, which I believe...
It's called Get Soft.
Yeah, Get Soft with Dr. Snuggle, which I believe Companeros translates to sexy camp, right? Camp of Eros. Sexy camp.
You know, I'm down.
I know there's an Enye in there somewhere.
Hey,
True.
This week and
I'm
every...
going to start the camp.
This week and every week, we'll have a little horror news. We'll be talking about some horror movies that we've seen lately, and we'll be reviewing a film together. Although this week it's actually a documentary series. We will be talking about the first 5 episodes of Cursed Films on Shudder. And then we'll find out if any of these films are actually cursed or not.
Yeah.
But before that, Kate was our camera person on the Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party, but she really became one of the show's stars when she started doing her weekly Murder Minute. Everybody looked forward to the Murder Minute. And I think that, Kate, what everybody is probably what people are most sad about with the pandemic and the end of the Heavy Leather Topless Dance Party is that they don't get the Murder Minute anymore.
I mean, that's what I'm most sad about, is I don't get to do it anymore.
We need our Murder Minute.
So we are so lucky that Kate has agreed to do a Murder Minute for us here. Kate is what you might call a true crime enthusiast.
Yeah.
And she knows so much about murder, and she's always bursting to tell you about it. So
it's true. It's true. I'm like Jason, except I don't follow through.
So we asked her to bring it back, and she was gracious enough to do it. And so we're going to do a Murder Minute. By the way, Kate, here's a headline I read earlier this week. I did not read the story because the headline seemed plenty to me. But here's the headline that I read. Naked woman arrested walking down street with severed head of her daughter and blood-stained kitchen knife.
Whoa.
That's something that actually happened.
What?
Yeah, in the Ukraine.
Somebody couldn't keep being inside.
Where the hell was that?
That was in the Ukraine. That much I know. I just figured that...
Too far from you.
I figured that the actual story wasn't going to get me anywhere, so that seemed like plenty.
I'm going to look that one up later, and I'll follow up.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Just read the headline.
All right, so let's play the Murder Minute intro, and then we'll get to this week's Murder Minute. Here we go.
I love it. I love hearing it. It's so great, even just in audio form. Okay, so we're talking about cursed films for this episode.
Yes.
So I am on theme, and I'm going to talk to you guys about some poltergeist-related murders and deaths that aren't by the hands of another human being. But as everyone knows, Poltergeist, the original movie, came out in 1982. There has long been, this sort of narrative that the film franchise is cursed. People point to the deaths of a lot of the first film stars. And the most notable ones are that Heather O'Rourke, who plays Carol Ann, the adorable little girl in the first one and in a couple more. She died 6 years after the first film came out at the age of just 12 because she came down with the flu. They thought that, it was just a bad case of the flu. She was en route to the hospital, and she actually had a bowel obstruction. And she ended up dying on the operating table of septic shock, which is uncommon and terrible. And then sort of this is something that no one really expects to happen. And so people are like, oh, well, it all points back to the movie. And then, just 5 months after the movie was released in 1982, Dominic Dunn, who plays Carol Ann's big sister Dana, was choked to death by her abusive, estranged boyfriend in her driveway. They had separated, and he asked to just have one more talk about it, and he came over, and it obviously didn't go the way that he wanted it to, so he strangled her. And then some other super creepy things are Richard Lawson, also from the original, almost died. He was on U.S. Air Flight 405 that crashed while trying to take off from LaGuardia Airport. And Lou Harriman, who's also from the first one, was murdered by a convict who had just been released for aggravated burglary. He murdered him with an axe in his home. And there's more deaths. There's deaths by natural causes. There's a lot of talk about, people think other people died. Not all of it's true. It's a lot of hearsay. But it all does tie back to the fact that there were real skeletons used on the set of Poltergeist. Jo Beth Williams, who plays the mom, Diane, has the famous swimming pool scene, and she has always said, like, we just thought they were props, but it turns out it's way more expensive to get prop skeletons than it is to just buy real skeletons. So they just filled the scene with real skeletons, and that's where everyone thinks this curse comes from. It bothered all of the actors so much that they held an exorcism during the filming of the second movie, and whether you believe it or not, it's a lot of deaths and a lot of really weird, sad deaths connected to just one film.
Thank you, Kate. Let's hear it for Kate. Murder Minute.
Thank you, Kate.
By the way, we're all surrounded by skeletons all the time, so I don't really see the big deal.
They're inside of us.
They're inside of all of us.
Say.
We're all, spoiler alert, we're all just skeletons covered in meat, so it doesn't, I don't think it would worry me to have skeletons around.
I just find it interesting that, like, they're making this movie that's like, man, bad things happen to this family because somebody messed up and didn't respect dead bodies. What should we do? Just use people's dead bodies without their consent to make the movie. Nothing bad could happen.
I'm going to let you know that I consent for anyone to use my body as they wish.
Yeah, I don't care.
Once I'm gone from this world.
Yeah.
But also, and they touch upon this in the series, the skeletons have been used in film since like film began, you know? So
good careers, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to say there's no curse.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to the curses later. She's just setting it up for you. She's just setting up. She's just setting up the array of death for you. Well, you can chew on it for a little while, and then we'll get to the curses in a bit. By the way, there's this thing. It's the All In Challenge where celebrities are doing various promotions to drum up donations for charity. And Chris Pratt of Jurassic Park fame has one where for a $10 donation to Meals on Wheels, you get entered into a lottery to get eaten by a dinosaur in the upcoming Jurassic Park movie.
I saw that.
That's incredible.
That's pretty fun, right?
Yeah.
So you can go to his Instagram for details, but throw in $10. It's for a good cause anyway, and you might get the chance to get eaten by a dinosaur.
If I'm going to go, that's how I want to go. I want a dinosaur to take me out.
By the way, I am much less enthusiastic about...
Coming 2022.
I am much less enthusiastic about Chris Pratt since he found Jesus. I liked him a lot more before then.
Ooh. He found Jesus?
God.
Is that what
that's another one?
He belongs to...
Montana?
He belongs to a hipster megachurch in L.A. called the Zoe Church.
Ugh.
And, and he's always talking about God now. It's really annoying.
It's weird. He got fit and he got handsomer, and then he started making blockbusters, and nobody likes him anymore. He's not Andy Dwyer anymore.
It's so weird. It's like, he thought he was doing all the right things, but, and maybe he is. He's very rich and famous now, for sure.
Shit, maybe we're not doing the right thing.
It seems like the last time, the worst time to go to Jesus is when you're in great shape and you're rich and famous. I mean, that's the time to enjoy all the pleasures of the flesh that Satan offers, right? I mean, like, I think he's going in the wrong direction.
Well, behind closed doors, you never know.
That's true, buddy. This is from Bloody Disgusting. Evil Dead virtual escape room. Kelly, you've done an escape room before, right?
No.
Me either. Kate, have you been to one?
I've done an escape room before.
We had talked about in Heavy Leather about doing an escape room together, which sounds like a lot of work for fun, right?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of being trapped.
Yeah, I had to really be talked into it because I have a real problem with being trapped and like in a room that I don't know how to get out of. And they had to show me all of the ways in which they don't lock the doors to get me to do it. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It really is.
So they had to ruin it for you before you would do it, is what it sounds like.
I mean, they just had to show me that in the event that it's all too much, I could get out if I wanted to.
They showed you the trap door that you can get out. Okay. So
I think I would be good at it, though.
You probably would. But in Seattle, they have an Evil Dead themed escape room, which seems pretty fun. But since everybody is stuck at home, the experience is now coming in this month. tickets went up on sale a couple days ago. Evil Dead 2: The Escape Room Live will allow you to experience the escape room from the comfort of your computer chair. So it's a 70-minute experience. It's all online. It uses Zoom. You control the game facilitator as your avatar. It's like a first-person video game, but with live people. And it's designed for 3 to 6 player groups, so you get some of your friends together, and then you spend the next 70 minutes trying to escape the Evil Dead. You know, of course, it takes some of the sting out of it because you're just sitting in the chair and you can just shut it off.
Yeah, just throw your computer monitor.
Right, because you're not really escaping from anything. But it seems like a neat idea.
I like that everyone's going virtual.
Yeah. And on a similar note, if you want to go inside the original The Conjuring house, now you can without leaving your couch.
Ooh.
So the movie The Conjuring, it's a haunted house movie based on real incidents. I'm air quoting real. Jason, I'm air quoting real incidents. Anyway, some family...
The couple is real. The couple who investigated it are real people.
Right.
The Warrens.
Right.
Yeah,
So I don't know too much about the story, but I know that some family bought the house that everything happened in, and there's an online network. It's called Dark Zone. They rigged up the whole house with cameras, and they are live streaming it for 24/7 for a whole week. This was starting yesterday. And they're going to have all kinds of events in there, seances, Ouija board readings, and all that. $4.99 for 24 hours to hang out in the Conjuring house. And maybe
$4.99?
Yeah, right, for 24 hours. It's not bad.
Wow.
And then, or $20 for the whole week. And you can stare at stuff, and then maybe think you saw a cup move by itself at some point. if you stare at it long enough.
Staring at it that long, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll be like, God damn it, they're right. It is haunted. That's what'll happen.
$4.99.
Is that good or is that bad, Kelly? I'm not. Is that?
That's a hell of a deal if you ask me.
Yeah, I feel like that's super low.
I mean, that's good if there's a decimal point in there.
Yeah. So check that out. By the way, I've never seen the Conjuring movies, but I'm sure they're very frightening. Are they very frightening?
They're spooky.
Okay, good.
They're spooky. They're all right.
Yeah.
Like the Annabelle and so.
Yeah, that whole.
Oh,
they made the whole thing
no.
out of it, yeah. The first one's better than the subsequent ones.
That's true.
They're good for people that like blockbuster jump scare movies.
Yeah.
The first one wasn't bad. I kind of enjoyed it. After that, it's just like any other thing.
Is it the first Conjuring? Is it the first one where they like have that weird hide and seek game where like they clap to find each other? That one freaks me out. That whole thing because like the idea of having your eyes closed.
That was good because she was hiding on top of the dresser.
I'm trying to.
Afraid of ghosts.
I'm trying to figure out a way, by the way, incidentally, to incorporate jump scares into the podcast. So, I haven't figured it out yet, so don't worry about it this episode.
Oh, great.
But in the future, I'm going to be throwing some jump scares in just to keep everybody on their toes.
Ken, are you jumpy? Do you get scared easily?
I don't know. I don't think so. But you do, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do, too.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I like.
How do you scare people for a living then? I couldn't do it. Anytime I would play like hide and seek as a kid, if I was hiding, I would get scared hiding.
It's like being the killer. You know what I mean? Like you're not afraid of when you're scaring people when you have a mask on.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's actually great for people that are scaredy cats because like you get to be the one in control.
I like that.
Great.
But people scare me all the time.
Kelly is awesome.
People scare me all the time. Assholes in haunts constantly come up to you and grab you or try to scare you.
That feels like my biggest problem is like I feel like you can tell people not to touch you, but they are probably not going to listen.
Yeah.
They want to be the tough guy.
Yeah, they always touch.
On the floor.
Jason, when you're out Jasoning, do people touch you as well, or are you too intimidating?
I try and be somewhat friendly, but I'm not a touchy-feely guy, so this whole 6 feet distance thing kind of works out pretty good anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
There are children that I am friends with that have to come up and get hugs, and they are the most amazing. These kids are going to grow up to just be awesome horror lovers.
Yeah.
Like they love the characters. Like this one kid, Ralph, comes in, he dresses up like Pennywise, and it scares me. He's handing me a chocolate bar. I'm scared. That's it. Salem's just a cool place like that.
That's awesome. Hey, also, Angry Asian Murder Hornets, the motion picture begins shooting. This is from Rue Morgue. The latest Screen Shocker taking advantage of a scare headline is being rushed for release next week. Director Dustin Ferguson of Amityville: Evil Never Dies. Haven't seen that one. Or Los Angeles Shock Attack. Or he also made 5G Zombies. He's getting rolling.
This guy is on top of the game.
He really is. He's gotten rolling on the Angry Asian Murder Hornets film in Los Angeles. It's already set for video on demand release June 1st.
Well, this guy moves quick.
How is that possible?
I don't know. The plot involves a fictional invasion of giant mutated murder hornets in Southern California, and it's up to the local anthropologists to find a way to destroy them before it's too late in this modern throwback to the 1950s era giant critter flicks. I don't know how he's shooting it with all the social distancing, but...
That's what I'm wondering. Like, people can't be in groups. People can't film things right now. How is he getting away with that?
I don't know.
He's breaking the law.
Yep.
It's all going to be done through Zoom.
Yeah, whole thing.
The entire movie.
There's so many things that have been like just bands getting together and doing stuff like that.
It's true, but I don't know if you can do a horror movie that way, but maybe you can. Maybe he's clever enough. Maybe the man who made 5G Zombies is clever enough to shoot it.
Oh, don't forget.
To shoot an all Zoom.
Like Blair Witch at first. They're like, what the hell is this movie?
Right.
This is the time for found footage films.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's those like couple of films about like Unfriended and stuff like that where it all takes place in like a Zoom chat and people die on screen. There's going to be so many of those movies next year.
Oh, God.
I saw a couple of those in the theater. It was really a strange experience because you're just watching a computer screen the whole time. But the ones that I've seen have all been actually pretty engaging. So
nice.
It's something we can all relate to because we're all staring at computer screens all the time. So
especially now.
Yeah, exactly. Also, when you get the chance, everybody, check out the trailer for a new film. It's called Becky. It's a home invasion horror / crime thriller. And the twist is that the bad guy in the movie is Kevin James of King of Queens fame as a bald bearded Nazi with a swastika tattooed on the back of his head. It's really
interesting.
This exists.
It's crazy. I watched the trailer and it actually looks pretty good. The 13-year-old daughter Becky.
2020 is a hell of a year.
Right. It's called Becky because there's a 13-year-old daughter in it, and she launches an assault to save her family from the Nazis. But there's some scenes with Kevin James in prison and stuff, and it's fucking wild, man.
Oh my God!
Truly playing against type. I like it.
Yeah. He really went for it this time.
So that's coming out. That's streaming in June, everybody. So look out for that. All right, so let's talk about some movies we've seen recently. By the way, I review all the movies I watch over on Letterboxd, so you can go to letterboxd.com/sleazegrinder if you want to follow me. I have 6 to tell you about this week. I think that the rest of the gang has some to tell you about. Let's find out. Jason, do you have any motion pictures that you want to tell people about this week that you've seen recently?
I did peruse through the Cursed movies, but other than that, I have watched, I believe it was Mayhem on Shudder.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
I did just watch Victor Crowley briefly. That one's always got some good kills in it. Got some Adam Green horror. Mayhem was fun just because it's kind of pertinent to the times. I think if people were to go a little bit crazier right now, there'd be crazy like lawsuits and mandates set and precedents set for... I don't know, like I said, it's a crazy year.
So Mayhem takes place in an office building, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it stars the guy that everybody loved in Walking Dead, right?
Yes.
Which was, what was his character in The Walking Dead? And then he got
Glenn,
I believe. And then everybody stopped watching the show when they killed that guy. So he's in a office building, and then something happens. People get a virus or something, and then everybody starts killing each other, right?
Ironically, you can tell in their eyes.
Oh,
exactly. And it also stars. It also stars.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it also stars Samara Weaving from Ready or Not fame, also Guns Akimbo fame, who's really becoming an action, a horror star these days. So yeah, that one's fun. Where did you see that? Is that on Shudder? I think it is, right?
That was on Shudder. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And you saw Victor Crowley, which is the sequel to something.
Was it number 4 of the Hatchet series, I believe?
Number 4 of the Hatchet series. I didn't know.
I love the Hatchet movies.
I got to say, I have actually fallen quite in love with them. I'm a Kane Hodder fan anyway, but the Hatchet ones have kind of grown on me pretty good.
I saw Kane Hodder at the gym once, which was a really weird experience. This is when back when I was living in Somerville. I was working out, and I look across the room, and fucking Kane Hodder is lifting weights. It was the strangest thing. But it was one of those things. It was like, it's so out of place that you figure, well, this isn't really, that can't really be happening. So I went home and I was like, Stacey, weird thing. I think I just saw Kane Hodder at the gym. And of course she was like, well, why would Kane Hodder be at the fucking Somerville Twin City Plaza gym? It doesn't make any sense. But then it turns out he was shooting a movie in Somerville at the time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's like some weird zombie movie.
He's a really nice guy. We've met him a bunch of times because he's been at Count Orlok's signing autographs in October.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's coming haunted in the house with us. That's been fun as well.
Wow.
That's awesome.
They just stand there and all of a sudden Kane Hodder comes up to grab you.
Yeah. Is he a large man? He must be a large man if he's
he is so tall.
Yeah. Okay. How tall is the Salem Jason?
Depends.
Okay.
In the water, out of the water?
Yeah, no, outside of the water, wandering around, dragging a body down.
Let's see. I say I could get up to about 6'4".
Nice, that's beautiful.
Hey, up too.
Depending.
So he can just extend his legs or something.
Yeah.
It is. You have Voorhees power. Depends how many donuts. Maybe a Front Street coffee.
There is a surgery that you can get to extend your legs by up to 2 inches. Can't get a lot, but you can do 2 inches.
What?
Why the fuck would you do that?
Where yeah. So you can get it done in India. I just read in an interview with a guy that did it.
Ken, are you not looking into this? Are you?
No, I'm not. I don't care. I'm fine with where
you
I'm
can just go to tallmenshoes.com.
Because I'm right on the edge. If I was a couple inches smaller, man, maybe it would have affected me more. But this guy, he said that being short was affecting his life negatively. He couldn't get past it. He went to India. It takes 6 months, but it's cheap because it's India. It only costs like $4,000 or $5,000, and
it takes 6 months.
Yeah, but they feed you every day. You get to stay in the hospital. They feed you every couple of 3 meals a day. But anyway, so what they do is they
grow the bones.
Yeah, they break your bones. And then just like micro breaks, and then they grow back, and then they break them again, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, and they shove some ramen noodles in there, and they sand them down. It's pretty good.
And at the end of it, you're 2 inches taller.
That's not worth it for 2 inches.
Is it guaranteed though? 2 inches?
No, it's not. Maybe it's not guaranteed. That's the average.
Your legs broken a bunch.
Yeah, the average is 2 inches. So.
2 inches only really matter in a couple of places.
I mean, I've always said
I don't know if India is one of those places.
I've always wanted to be an inch or two taller. I'm at maybe 5'3", and I just have always wanted to know what 5'4" would be like.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be perfect for you then.
Yeah, maybe I should do it. I got nothing else going on right now.
You get your free 6 months. We're not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah.
Now's the time to recover.
Grow yourself now.
It used to.
This is how I'm going to glow up in quarantine.
Oh, I'm glowing down big time. I'll tell you that.
Maybe people do consider me short, but no one has ever called me short, so I don't really worry about it. But I am. You can do that right now if you'd like, Kelly. But I'm 5'7", so
You're tall to me.
Thank you.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. I think that's the key. Is you just hang around with people that are shorter than you, and you feel fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kate, can you tell us about any movies that you've seen recently that you might recommend to the people?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them are just so I have a problem in which I love horror films, but I really like bad horror films.
Sure.
And I've watched some weird stuff recently. One really good thing is my partner showed me Death Race 2000, which was brilliant.
Great movie.
The original. Highly recommend.
The original, 1975.
What?
You're talking about
the original one, not the remake.
Okay.
And then I showed him The Bye Bye Man, which is just a truly, truly horrible movie.
It really is.
But if you just want to watch something that's bad for fun, I recommend that. That was really a wild ride. And then I watched, I was telling everyone before we started that I finally got my Shudder subscription. So I watched just whatever they start playing for you on one of the streaming channels. And I watched The Furies, which came out in 2019. And it's a weird, Beauty and the Beast kidnap situation where these women like get kidnapped and drugged and then wake up in boxes in the woods, and there's masked men who have to kill them, but they're all like assigned to one. That was weird, but I watched the whole thing, didn't hate it, and then I watched by accident this movie called Carriers, which is highly recommend if like you feel okay watching virus pandemic related movies right now to watch this. It's got Chris Pine. I'm pretty sure it's that Chris, not another famous Chris. And it's kind of like a weird virus, kind of zombie apocalyptic. They're just trying to make it in the world after some sort of virus has changed people.
Fantastic. The Furies had some great kills in it, from what I remember.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I had to look away. Some people's faces got really messed up. There was a lot of face-centric deaths, which is hard to look at sometimes.
And also, does it have is it a feminist slasher?
I mean, there are it's definitely trying to work on tropes that horror films have.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to think about because like, does it pass the Bechdel test if you have a bunch of women talking to each other, but they're talking about men because the men are trying to kill them?
Right. Exactly. So it's on the fence. It could be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about some films, and then we'll get to Kelly. First of all, I want to talk to you about a film called Getaway. Not The Getaway, just Getaway. And I don't know why it's called Getaway because, I'm not sure if
nobody gets away.
It's not really relevant. But it's a very low budget film, and it's a very simple story. It's a hot witch versus serial killer rednecks. It's wildly implausible in all ways, but it's still pretty good. It might be the first film I've seen that seems directly inspired by Rob Zombie's filmography. I feel like people watch Rob Zombie movies, but nobody gets inspired to make films like him. It's the same thing with his music. I think people enjoy Rob Zombie and White Zombie, but nobody aspires to have a band like that. But I feel like that's exactly what this filmmaker was going for. I was telling Kelly at the time that I was watching it that I sort of hated it, but even when I was done, as soon as I was done watching it, I was like, I think I want to watch it again.
Did you watch it again?
I haven't watched it again yet, but I definitely plan to. It had some really good moments and some good set pieces, and then sometimes it looked really good. And really, the only problem with it was that the three like redneck serial killers they were like hipsters, right? They were like hipster guys. And why would hipster guys be redneck serial killers? It just doesn't make any sense. And that's the reason that it sort of works when Rob Zombie does it is that he has enough money to make something look like a period piece. So, they're unloosed from the modern day, at least. In this one, you're rooted in right now because it's a low budget film. So you go, well, why would these guys be serial killers? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's a hot witch, so that's
also the hot witch was hot enough that you go, it doesn't even really matter what is happening in the rest of the movie. So there's that too. And then
there's a distraction.
And then there's there's a couple of there's a couple of lesbian lovers in it. If that's something that you enjoy.
This movie has everything.
So it's got a lot. It's got a lot going for it. It might be a really terrible.
Is there actual nudity?
All the women get nudity as far as I remember. At some point. I
remember.
I think even though I think it's probably a bad movie, I think it's probably still worth watching. And speaking of lesbians, let me move on to Bit from 2019. Sure. It's a really fun movie about a lesbian vampire and her crew in Los Angeles. So what happens is they only turn women into vampires in the movie because they don't think that men can handle the power.
Men don't deserve to be vampires.
I love it.
Right, and they try to only kill jerks.
Right. Nice.
Doesn't always work out that way, but that's what they do. And it's very much like a lesbian feminist version of the Lost Boys. So a new girl moves to town to Los Angeles to get away from her family, start her life over, all this kind of stuff, and then she meets on her first night in Los Angeles. She goes to a club with her brother to see the band, the Death Valley Girls. And while she's there, she runs into the head vampire who takes a liking to her, decides to bite her. And then, they work things out. And so the plot is almost exactly like Lost Boys, except with, this whole modern feminist twist.
This sounds familiar. Is this a remake of a foreign film?
I don't believe so. I believe it's a new film, but what does it sound like to you, Kelly?
I can't remember the name of it. I watched it years ago, and I thought, man, this movie would be so fucking good if it wasn't dubbed. I couldn't find it anywhere with just subtitles, and I think it wasn't French. I'll have to let you know, but it was a really good film, but the dubbing was... Ugh.
Dubbing is the worst. Is it that big of a problem to read something?
No.
The Wretched from 2019. Kid comes to stay with his dad for the summer to work on the marina, giving boat rides or whatever. He meets a cool girl. He calls his dad's new girlfriend a bitch. He gets drunk. He pukes at a party. He's having a good teenage summer. Things are going good. But then life gets weird when his next door neighbor brings home some roadkill one day, out of which slithers a tree demon that hides inside of the victims that it kills. So next door to him, a demon is taking over this family and killing people. And he knows it, and nobody believes him. So what follows is a very Fright Nighty battle of teenage fortitude versus ancient woodland demon.
Ooh.
It's good.
It's weird. It does sound very Fright Nighty, except a tree demon, not a vampire.
Yeah, it's got very strong 80s vibes. In fact, it even starts out in 1985. And then it moves to modern day, but it's got plenty of thrills and chills. Very solid. If you had rented this from Blockbuster in 1986, you'd love it. You'd think that
I love thrills and chills.
Yep. Yeah. Let me move on. Witches in the Woods, 2019. A group of young people. These are all new releases, which is why I'm piling them all in. Who all seem to have young people all have dark secrets and very fresh trauma. It must be very tough being a college student these days, because whenever you watch modern horror films, the kids always have problems. It seems in the 80s, in slasher movies, the kids all just wanted to have a good time. And nowadays, the kids all have trauma. I don't know what happened from then to now. But anyways, they're all going on a skiing trip.
In my day, the kids were just trying to drink beer and have sex.
Right, exactly.
That's all I know.
So they're going
They're
going on a skiing trip to Western Massachusetts. It was actually shot in Canada, but it was interesting that they were that they were trying to make it look like they were in Massachusetts on the way, because it's so snowy. I mean, there's no place that's snowy in Massachusetts. On the way, there's a detour, and they end up going through the mystical town of Stoughton Falls, Massachusetts, where witch trials and hangings occurred in the 1690s. But were somehow overshadowed by Salem's drama. That's the story. One of the guys thinks he knows a shortcut. One guy always does, right? One guy, I know. Let's go this way. No, seems like a bad idea. No. Believe me, I know these woods like the back of my hands. And so they all end up stranded in the woods during a blizzard. Two of them go out for help. Only one of them comes back, and she's now possessed by something. And then everybody starts dying either by murder or the elements or misadventure of some kind. That's Witches in the Woods.
Don't take shortcuts, and don't forget about Stoughton.
I wouldn't have minded the movie, but everybody in this movie is awful. So you don't feel much for the characters.
Were there awful like New England accents?
No, they weren't. They didn't even try. By the way, with New England accents, they were all.
Did they say Stoughton right?
They did say Stoughton, but they didn't. There was no zest to it. There was no spice to saying Stoughton. But
hey, y'all want to go to that Dunks?
So most of all the dudes in the group were jocks. They were all part of some team. I don't think they said what kind of team it was. One guy is the captain. The guy that's driving the car, the SUV, is the captain of the team, but they don't say what the team is. But anyway, maybe they didn't. I forgot. But anyway, the girl who becomes possessed, they don't tell you exactly what happened, but there's a strong implication that she was raped by the people that are in the car with her at a frat party. So there's that tension. The main girl, who is supposed to be sort of the final girl that you're all rooting for, cheated with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is the guy driving, with the guy in the back seat. So everybody is fucking awful, and should not in any stretch be on vacation together.
Jesus Christ!
So you got to deal with all that melodrama while everybody's dying in a snowstorm. In fact, they're still arguing with each other about all this stuff while they're dying in a snowstorm.
Dude, that's what they get.
Yeah. Let me move on.
Should have just made some hot chocolate.
Let me move on. Cry Havoc, 2020. An eccentric billionaire lures hot girls to his compound by advertising it as a survival-based reality TV show. But when they get there, and this sounds very much like the film that Kate was talking about, they get hunted down by a Jason-esque killer named Havoc. That's almost exactly the plot, Kate, of The Furies, except no reality show. One of the girls' dad is a rogue cop who comes looking for her, and the dad is played by Robert Bronzi, who is making a career out of looking exactly like Charles Bronson. That's his whole thing. He looks exactly like 1969 era Charles Bronson.
Yeah, absolutely.
My partner was just telling me about this person. It's unreal.
He's incredible. I think he's Spanish, and I'm not even sure. They dub his voice over, so maybe he has a strong accent or something, because his voice is dubbed in it. But anyway, it's super low budget. And when I say low budget, it's even lower than you're imagining. Like the compound is just a clump of bare trees. That's all it is. So the whole thing is just people running around in a clump of bare trees. But this guy Bronzi is super fun to watch because, like I said, it just seems like Charles Bronson is back for some reason. And there's some good gore. So take that with a grain of salt because it's not a great movie and it's really cheap. But I don't know. I feel like you have to watch this guy, man, because it's so weird.
Yeah, I definitely want to see him in something.
And finally, this week for me, Night Sitter from 2018. Just watched this last night. Plucky redhead with a murky past. We don't know why she needs money so quick, but she does. She's posing as a babysitter to rob a rich guy. The rich guy happens to be a collector of occult artifacts, and he wants to be a occult reality TV host. She puts the kids to bed. He leaves. She calls her crew of degenerates and morons to burgle a joint. Unbeknownst to them, however, the kid that she's sitting got into his dad's forbidden office where the artifacts are and sums himself up some witches. And then they got to figure out how to deal with that. It's a really fun movie.
I watched
that today.
Did you watch it, Kelly?
Oh.
Yeah, I watched it today. This right when I woke up.
I thought it was
great.
Well acted, great set design, very funny, fast moving, spooky when it needs to be. Really fun movie. It's on Amazon Prime right now. So I definitely suggest everybody check that out. It's called Night Sitter. And let's get over to Kelly, and she's going to tell us what she has seen this week.
So I rewatched a bunch of older movies, but the newest movie that I saw it's not new, but I hadn't seen before, Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bowl-orama.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, the title alone is great. It's 1988, stars Scream Queen Linnea Quigley. It is directed by John Stewart Wildman, who also directed the movie The Ladies of the House in 2013. It was really good. It starts off with a couple of dorky guys, trying to come up with a plan to go spy on the hot sorority babes, and they get busted by one of the sorority house members and basically sent along with pledges to go steal a trophy from a bowling alley that's inside of a mall. And when they get there, they run into Linnea Quigley's character, who's this badass punk chick with a crowbar trying to break open pinball machines. And, all goes awry when a fucking imp comes out of the bowling trophy. I don't know why there was an imp in the bowling trophy. I think I missed that part. I do remember there's a janitor in a broom closet that screams, "You done let the imp out." And I was like, okay, this is great. It was really fun. It was silly. It's super 80s trash. Would you say it's an exploitation?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I definitely recommend watching this with some friends.
The imp was voiced by Dookie Flyswatter from the band Haunted Garage, and I remember he just had like he was like jive talky, right? Hey, right? I mean, I forget. I remember
he looked like a fucking gargoyle.
Yeah, it's a fun movie for sure. Cool.
Linnea Quigley is the best.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
And you saw Night Sitter today, and you liked it.
Yeah, I saw Night Sitter. I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of really good kill scenes. The first 45 minutes, not too much happens.
Yeah.
And then it really takes off, and I really liked it.
And that brings us to Best Kill of the Week.
Sounds so juicy.
That is gross.
Best Kill of the Week, everybody. This week for me, in Cry Havoc, starring Richard Bronzi. Havoc, the killer guy, tears the top of a guy's head off in just like one quick move. And I had never seen just like half a head being torn off before. And it was quite excellent. That from me.
Ooh.
Are we talking like nose up or like?
Yeah, I would. So from the top of the jaw.
Ooh.
That whole half, right in half.
Wow.
It was great. I don't even know how they did it, but
it
looked excellent. Kelly, how about you? Best kill of the week?
My best kill of the week, I rewatched Creepshow 1 and Creepshow 2, and by far the cockroach kill. It's fucking terrifying. You got the old rich guy that lives in like a sterile looking apartment. He is a complete germaphobe, and of course cockroaches take over his entire place, and he tries to lock himself in an airtight room, and they cut away the scene. All the cockroaches appear. They cut the scene, and then they cut back, and it's his body laying there, and then all the cockroaches just come bursting out of him.
It's intense.
It's really a thing of nightmares.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. Hey, Jason, do you have a best kill of the week?
It's actually, I'm going to say the end of Victor Crowley was actually pretty cool. The gentleman who played Doofy in Scary Movie is playing an quote-unquote actor in this. And the way he dispatches of Victor Crowley into an airplane engine is quite intense.
Oh, he throws him into a jet engine?
It's kind of like a loving tackle.
Yeah.
A loving tackle.
Yeah. It was pretty good, but that sets it up for part 5. So,
but wait, is it a jet engine or a propeller? Which are we talking here?
It seems like a small jet engine.
Okay, all right. I recently saw a photograph of a guy that got sucked into a jet. It was just like the engine that was just completely stained red. There's nothing left to a person when they get sucked into a jet engine. It's intense.
I don't know.
It seems like a decent way to go, though. We all have to go somehow. Getting sucked into a jet engine, it's very quick. You're not even going to feel anything.
Really fast. You wouldn't even have time to know what was happening.
You wouldn't even.
I don't want to go like that.
You do not have time to process it.
Oh, you could be a jet engine legend.
Yeah, exactly. But that'd be great. That is a great. Like, what happened to him? Got sucked into a jet engine. Holy shit! It's better than you got cancer, or, got whatever. Got sucked into a jet engine. That is a way to go.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a very exciting way to go. Kate, do you have a best kill of the week?
Better than getting like 3D.
I mean, I feel like every death in Death Race 2000 was my best kill of the week. I don't know if there's a best one in that. I think someone also gets sucked into an engine in that at some point too, but I don't know if I could pick like the best death from that. So I'm just saying the whole movie, every kill is beautiful.
All the deaths
and lots of fake blood. It's great.
Fantastic. All right, quick break, and when we get back, Cursed Films.
Hello there. My name is Matt, and I'm a humble court bailiff in a courtroom designed to bring musical justice to all. Each week, we have a podcast with a judge and a jury, and we determine whether a song is guilty, not guilty, or not guilty by reasons of insanity. You know, something like, Suck it, lick it, lube it, twist it. Or maybe it's a cover of Tom Petty. You can find us wherever you find podcasts, iTunes, Google Play, all that stuff. Just look for Songs on Trial, please. Okay, I love you. Make good choices.
All right, everybody. Cursed Films. Here we go. So Cursed Films is a documentary series currently streaming on Shudder. So far, there are 5 episodes. Each runs for a half hour. They are focused on films that have a reputation for being cursed for various reasons. The episodes cover the following films, and I believe this is the order that they came out on Shudder: The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist, The Crow, and finally Twilight Zone, the movie. Oof. So it was definitely the hardest to watch for sure. Was the Twilight Zone one. So let's talk about what we thought. Kate at the beginning during the Murder Minute talked about the Poltergeist, Poltergeist curse, and all the people who died in it. All right. So what do you guys think about Cursed, the series? What are your feelings about this documentary series?
I loved it. I thought it was super informative. I liked that because I thought going into it, it was just going to be all these people saying curse, this is curse, everything is curse. And then you find out a lot of people are just kind of debunking it, and that trying to get to the bottom of where these legends and myths even came from. So I really liked that. I mean, there's a couple of goofy characters and some like that black magician guy. I don't remember his name.
Oh, yeah.
He just reminded me of like Christian Day in Salem, rolling around on his Segway or something. But I really enjoyed it. All episodes, what were they? 25, 30 minutes a piece.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In the Poltergeist episode, there's a guy, a video blogger, that visits the shooting locations for horror movies. That's what he does. And so he's at the Poltergeist house, and he's standing there in the driveway. And I was thinking while I was watching this, imagine you own this house, and there's these fucking annoying morons like this guy in your driveway every day.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I thought...
I definitely mess with them.
I found that part very frustrating. But however, I live in Salem where people stand around in front of stuff all the time. So I guess, I guess you get used to it. But it would suck if it was my driveway. I had thought, I was telling Stacy, we could say, because we live in Salem, we could probably say that something scary happened in our house. And then people would probably come to see it during Halloween.
Yeah, just falsify some record.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make a lot of new friends that way.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do that because I don't want people in my front yard. But I know that I could. And say there's something. There was another witch trial that nobody knows about, and it happened right in my backyard in 1691. That's the craziest thing. And then everybody would come around. And then I'd be like the poor souls that own the Poltergeist house. One thing that really derailed this for me was in the Exorcist episode when they interviewed the guy who performs exorcisms. Because I hope you can hear the air quotes when I say that he performs exorcisms. I thought it was ridiculous to have him in it. The whole series is about debunking myths about curses and whatnots. And here they are really promoting one by giving this guy equal time. You know what I'm saying? Mm. I didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean,
you're just trying to balance it out.
It's pretty ridiculous, but I kind of did like how they had a little bit of balance to it. Yeah.
Kelly cried.
The Crow one was funny.
Yeah, Kelly cried during the Crow episode.
Oh my God, I was sobbing. I was literally ugly crying on my couch, bone sober, just crying. And my partner looks at me. He's like, are you okay? And I was like, it's so sad.
It is.
Hopefully I wear a mask so you can't see my face. But yeah. That was a sad one.
Just make sure you have your tissues with you for that one, guys.
Sure.
And I found that the Twilight Zone episode was it was very upsetting. So I'm sure everybody remembers, but in Twilight Zone, the motion picture, there was just like an incredibly tragic scene where there was some children running from a helicopter. It's like a Vietnam scene. guy was supposed to pick them up and take them to safety, and then the helicopter crashed into the little lagoon that they created and chopped all their heads off. So
that's so fucked up.
And really, when you watch how this all unfolded, it's really surprising to me that John Landis didn't go to jail for that, because he is directly responsible for 3 deaths.
I know.
Because they told him, like, this is too dangerous, we shouldn't do it. And he's like, no, let's do it anyway. In fact, let's put more explosions in there. And they're like, well, we can't legally, we can't have these kids on the set. And he's like, well, let's illegally get some kids and put them on the set. Ugh. So he really did everything he could just in the name of art. And by doing that, he was irresponsible enough to cause the deaths of not only the actor Vic Morrow, but the 2 small children. And,
while their parents stood by and watched.
While everybody watched, and you can, although you can't really see anything, they have the actual footage on the, which I don't really feel like they needed to do, but they have the actual footage in the documentary. And it's very upsetting.
I think that happened so quickly.
Ultimately, for a movie that wasn't even that good, really.
How did that movie even get released after that?
I know. It's the whole thing is mystifying to me.
Is that the one with John Lithgow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why.
So there you go. And, ultimately what happened when you finish watching these, of course, is you realize that nothing is cursed. Everybody's lives are marred by various tragedies. A film takes a lot of people. That's a lot of naturally occurring tragedies that you can string together.
The good thing about living in Salem, Ken?
What?
Is if you get a curse, right?
Yeah.
You can look no further than Hawthorne Boulevard.
That's right. You can
go right over to Fatma's psychic studio, and you can get that curse lifted off you for the low price of $16,800.
Wow.
Wait, $1, Bob. $1, Bob.
If you guys don't remember that, back in 2013, Fatma's psychic studio in Salem was they were shut down because they were, conning people out of lots of money to lift curses off of them, which is crazy because they also, I read a whole thing about all these other people that came forward and said, they charged me this much and this much. So there's like one guy's getting charged $50 to get a curse lifted off of him, and then this other sad sucker got conned out of $16,000.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Jeez.
Although you are right in that if you do end up with a curse or a hex or something and you happen to live in Salem, you just go downtown. There are like 300 active witches in Salem. One of them should be able to lift it off of your unfortunate supernatural burden for a decent price. Although I would say,
do it the old natural way.
I would say
crystals up your ass.
Yeah, I would say, what do you think is a good lifting of a curse price? I think like $40 should be enough, right?
It depends on the curse.
Yeah.
If you're barking up a worm, that's one thing.
If it's a death curse, I suppose you can go up a little bit. But I mean,
$50 should be standard curse price.
Yeah.
I agree to that. I think a flat 50 is good.
Flat $50.
$16,000. You're getting greedy.
But wait a minute.
So is this to put on the curse or to take off the curse?
Oh, good question.
I get a lot more money to take things off.
Yeah, right.
Good one.
The Cursed series, everybody, it's on Shudder now. It's very good. It's very engaging. They're only a half hour each. You do learn a lot about the making of the various films. Will make you want to watch some of those films again. I haven't seen The Crow since it came out. I do want to see it again.
Love it.
I've never seen The Exorcist. It turns out, we talked about it last week on the show. Turns out I'm scared to see The Exorcist. So
What?
I couldn't believe it either, Kate. I was flabbergasted.
Well, I never really
on your house.
I never really saw it, and then I never really questioned why I didn't see it, and then Kelly started poking me about it, and then I realized that I haven't seen it because I'm scared to see it.
Wait, what exactly scares you though?
I don't know, but she was very ageist in the way that she's like, it just seems like a lot of guys your age
I'm so sorry.
Are afraid of this movie.
Am I picking on you, Ken? I think I'm picking on you now.
It's like a little bit, but
I'm a fucking bully.
It's fine.
Great.
Oh boy.
It's fine.
Everybody just loves curses.
Have you guys seen that post that's going around social media where it's talking about how they unearthed all of these new sarcophagi in Egypt and they've never been open, and everybody was like, do not do this. Back. 2020 is not the year.
I'm still picking you people for playing with the big Ouija board last year.
Yeah, it's funny, when you mentioned that.
Blame our friend John.
Yeah, you mentioned that on social media the other day, and I was like, that is true. We did unloose the world's biggest Ouija board. That probably wasn't a good idea.
Who was in charge of that?
Yeah, I just...
Did you say goodbye when you were done? Did you make sure to end it?
Somebody said goodbye.
Okay. Well, you got to make sure you end your session when you use a Ouija board. Otherwise,
you leave it open, man.
Otherwise, we get this.
Check it out, everybody.
I'm going to play books in Latin. That's all I do.
It's on Shudder. Shudder is available, I believe, right now. While everybody's locked down, they have 30 free days of Shudder. Mm-hmm. So you can go over there, check everything out for free. It's really fun. And I like the fact that they don't pile, a million new things on there all the time. They do it slowly, so you can keep up with it.
It seems really nicely curated. It's a really good service.
Yeah, I love Shudder. Highly recommend.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. Before we go, let's get to the plugs. Kate's got earrings. Jason's got masks. I don't know what Kelly's got, but let's find out. Kate, what do you got?
Me and my partner run Spite House Shop, which has a nice collection of knife jewelry. So if you want something spooky to wear around, make people stay more than 6 feet away from you by putting some knives on you, we've got that. We haven't accessed the majority of our stock while we're kind of in lockdown, but we do have some stuff available to ship out in a very sanitary nature.
Do you have everything in a warehouse, in the Spite House warehouse?
Well, it's in my partner works out of Artisans Asylum in Somerville, and they are doing a lot of PPE building during the day. It's close to the public, so we're kind of avoiding it for now.
Makes sense. Hey, Kelly, by the way, parenthetically, how do you feel about designer occult or goth or horror-themed masks in the time of the pandemic?
I haven't. I ordered a mask that has pumpkins on it. That's exciting.
There you go. So she's.
I mean, I feel like you got to use it as an accessory, right?
Sure.
I have one that has the Minions on it too.
In fact, I mean, it seems to me, this is kind of the rock and roll, post-industrial, road warrior aesthetic anyway, right? That everybody enjoys. So let's all embrace it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hey, so spitehouse.com. No?
Yes. Spitehousedesigns.com.
Spitehousedesigns.com. Beautiful. Go there. She has beautiful jewelry. Everybody wears it. I have one of her pins on my jacket, and I love it.
Sure.
Jason, how about you, buddy?
Oh,
it's your time to shine.
Well, let's see. We're just hanging out in Salem over here, but if you need something to cover your face because you can't stop touching your nose or something, you can just check out Uncle Boogeyman on Facebook, and I'll see if I can help out.
He'll hook you up.
What you look like. Yeah. Just Jason
That's nice.
Are you still going to be doing your leave the masks places and we have to go find them? Are you still going to do that in the time of the pandemic, or are we wait until that's over?
I've actually been trying to figure that out because I love that everybody does come and try and find them. And that's great, but I obviously also want to keep everybody's safety in mind. And, I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's a 13th coming up soon. This Wednesday, actually. Wednesday 13.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You could mail it to someone at random.
I have some interesting things in mind. It should be. I mean, you got to figure out something to do these days, right?
Yeah.
So,
can't wait.
Yeah. All right, cool. So there you go. Go to Uncle Boogeyman on Facebook, and you can find out what Jason's up to. Kelly, you got any plugs?
And her ears.
I'm not selling anything, Ken, unless you want to buy my affection.
No. I know you're not. I know you're not selling anything. But for example, last week you suggested we all go check out the Baphomets for their virtual thing. I wonder if there's anything else happening, Salem-centric sort of stuff.
I haven't heard this week of anything, but I'll definitely keep my ear to the ground over here.
Fantastic. All right, everybody, Facebook.com/Heavy Leather Horror Show for our TV show. You can also see my weekly series, Witch Watch, on there, Gogo Companeros, figure out the spelling, .com for the podcast. And we'll see.
Campanero.
That's exactly right. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next week on the Heavy Leather Horror show.
Stay spooky.
We gotta get out of here.